what's happening, people? It's Oddizian, and welcome back to Deck Profiles. Today we are talking about adding Nisters. I posted my showcase a few weeks ago before my move, and I meant to do this video before my move, but sadly my cards didn't all come before. Yeah. But I have all the cards now, so let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into the adding Nister deck profile. So a lot of these are personal choices. I've tested this deck a lot and it works the way I have it, so I'm going to keep it the way I have it. But going into it, we are starting with 3 Picari Adding Nister, our combo starter. Picari Adding Nister lets us pull out an Adding Nister spell or trap from our deck. Most of the time it's going to be Adding Nister Eye Land or Eye Contact, just to help extend our plays and help us get more cards in our hand. Next is Achi-Chi Adding Nister, which lets us add a level 4 or lower Adding Nister monster from our deck to our hand. So another combo starter or combo extender. Next up, we're starting the 2 ofs, which is Bururu Adding Nister, which sends an Adding Nister monster from our deck to our graveyard. But also, if this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material for a Cyberse monster, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard that was used for Synchro Summon except Bururu, and special summon that. So the other monster used for Synchro material also gets summoned to your field. Also, I forgot to mention, Achi-Chi also can destroy your monster that is involved in a battle to just negate battles. Next up, we have Doyan Adding Nister. Doyan Adding Nister is going to take our monsters, or Nister monsters from our graveyard and put them back in our hand, just to, again, help us extend and keep our combos moving. Next is Hiyari Adding Nister. Hiyari, if we control an Adding Nister monster, we can special summon a Hiyari, but also we can destroy we can tribute one other Cyberse monster we control and add a level 5 or higher Adding Nister monster from our deck to our hand, and if we do, this monster's level becomes 4 until the end of the turn. Then if we tributed a Link monster to activate this effect, we can also add Ai's Ritual to our hand. Next up, we have Doshin Adding Nister, which lets us, well, he also lets special summons if we control an Adding Nister monster, but we can also return a Cyberse Link monster from our graveyard to our extra deck and add I Love Fusion back to our deck. Three, two, one. Next up, we have a few 1-ofs, including Gachiri Adding Nister. The first time any Cyberse monster we control will be destroyed by a card effect, it is not destroyed. You can use each of the following effects of Gachiri Adding Nister each turn, or once per turn. You can target 1 Cyberse effect monster you control, negate its effects, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster you control. That target is unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. So, great protection. Next up here, we have Gasari. Gasari Adding Nister. When a Link monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your Link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack points. When an attack is declared involving a Link monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and the attack of both of those monsters become 3,000. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. Duh. Next up, we have our Water Leviathan Adding Nister. Water Leviathan, our ritual monster. You can ritual summon this card using Ai's Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can return all monsters your opponent controls with 2,300 or less attack points to the hand. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, return all Link monsters from your graveyard to the extra deck, and if you do, change that targeted monster's attack to 0. You can only use this effect of Water Leviathan Adding Nister once per turn. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can have the attack of that opponent's monster during that battle calculation only. Sorry, cannot read. That does it for our main deck Adding Nister monsters. Moving on to the personal choice monsters that I run in this deck, we run 3 Parallel Exceed, though I feel like 3 Parallel Exceed would be kind of standard for any Cyberse deck that uses Exceed monsters. Now getting on to, like I said, more personal choice. We have 2 Widget Kid, which lets us special summon a monster into defense position once he is summoned. We also run 1 Backup Secretary, which if we control a Cybers monster, we can special summon this monster from our hand. And there's also Degrade Buster, which is a beat stick, which lets us banish 2 Cybers monsters from our graveyard and special summon him. But he's also 2500 beat stick, so that's why he's also really good. But that rounds out monsters. Moving on to our spell cards, starting off with 3 at Ignister Islands. If we control no monsters in our main monster zone, we can special summon 1 level 4 or lower at Ignister monster from our hand. We can do this for each attribute, but usually we only get to do it once or maybe twice per turn. But either or, that's great. But if this card is in our graveyard, we can banish an Ad Ignister monster from our graveyard and set this card, so we can just recur it from graveyard. I had Terraforming in here somewhere for that. There it is. We have a 4th copy with Terraforming. But yes, Terraforming. Moving on to the rest of our spell cards, we also run 3 Idle Reborn. It is just our extender and gives us extra things. So we also run 3 Signet Mining for obvious reasons, just to help us if we do brick. Signet Mining is a great card to help us get out of those brick situations. And then for a few 1-ofs for our Ignister cards, we're running 1 Eye's Ritual, 1 Eye Contact, because why not? If we have 2 Eye Ignister lands in there, we can do Bakari, we can get Eye Contact, and we can plus a few cards. It doesn't seem like a bad thing to me. Also, I love Fusion, and then we also run a Tie Strike just to make things even. Mutual Destruction is okay with me sometimes. And then to finish off our main deck, we also run 1 Called by the Grave and 1 Mirror Force. But that does it for main deck, and then we will go ahead and move on to the extra deck here in just a moment. Alright, so starting off our extra deck, we are running 2 Arrival Cybers at Ignister. Even though we can only control 1 Arrival, we run 2. The original attack of this card becomes 1,000 times the number of link materials used for its link summon. It is unaffected by other cards' effects. Once per turn, you can target 1 other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon 1 Ad Ignister token, Cybers Dark level 1, attack 0, defense 0, to your zone this card points to. So yeah, it's just our big Mac Daddy link monster for the deck. We're also running 2 Dark Templar at Ignister. This is the card that was holding me off from recording this deck profile for so long, and I am so glad to finally have it. But it requires 3 monsters with different names. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, even during the damage step, you can special summon as many level 4 or lower Ad Ignister monsters from your graveyard as possible to zones this card points to, but their effects are negated. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 Cybers monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effect as Dark Templar at Ignister once per turn. Moving on to a single, we are running 1 Fire Phoenix at Ignister. During damage calculation, if this card attacks, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's attack, and if you do, your opponent takes no battle damage from that battle. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and during the next standby phase, after this link summoned card was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Fire Phoenix at Ignister once per turn. Moving on to our Light Dragon at Ignister. 2 Light Dragon at Ignisters. 2 level 4 monsters. If a monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach 1 material from this card. You can only use each of the following effects of Light Dragon at Ignister once per turn. You can detach 1 material from this card, destroy 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Detach 1 material from this card and destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Ad Ignister monsters you control. When another Cybers monster you control inflicts damage to your opponent, you can special summon 1 link monster from your graveyard. So, all around, just great to have it here. 1 Wind Pegasus at Ignister. During your main phase, you can destroy spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of Ad Ignister monsters you control. If another card you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, while this card is on the field or in the graveyard, you can banish this card and target 1 card your opponent controls, shuffle into the deck. You can only use each effect of Wind Pegasus at Ignister once per turn. Goodness, there's a lot of mouthfuls in here. Moving on to our Fusion, our Earth Golem at Ignister. After this card is Fusion summoned, you take no battle damage for the rest of the turn. If this card attacks a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, this card gains attack equal to its original attack during the damage step only. When this card is destroyed by a battle, you can target one monster, Cyberse monster. You can target one Cyberse monster in your graveyard, except for Earth Golem Agnister special summon it. You can only use each effect. You can only use this effect of Earth Golem Agnister once per turn. Sorry, I am having a very difficult time reading, and I'm having a very difficult time lining these cards up. Adjust. There we go. That's better. Moving on to just the remaining Link monsters in this deck, we are running one Link Cross, one Japanese Link Cross. We are running two Link Kuriboh. We're running one Splash Mage, one Cyberse Wicked, and one Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. I just feel like Dark Fluid works a little bit better, in my opinion, for this deck. I mean, yeah, it just works a little bit better than Access Code Talker. That and Access Code Talker is a lot more expensive. But if you guys give me just a second, now that we're done with the deck profile, I'll shuffle up and we'll show you guys test hands. Alright guys, I ran out of footage, or ran out of space on my camera. So usually whenever I do these test hands, they are my live deck, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So we're gonna activate Ignister Island. Ignister Island's effect for Achi-Chi. Achi-Chi effect for Picari. My mouse is stuck. There we go. Special summon for Link Kuriboh. Activate Ignister Island's effect again for Picari. Picari effect. Get Eye Contact. Activate Eye Contact. Target Ignister Island. Draw 3 cards. We're gonna normal summon Widget Kid. Widget Kid's effect. Oh, phone, you're ruining it. Special summon Doyon. Effective Doyon. Add Achi-Chi back to my hand. Special summon Dark Templar at Ignister. Using these 3. Activate. Wait, no. What do we want to do? I forgot. We can go Link Kuriboh again. Dark Templar effect. Special summon Doyon and Picari. Special summon Light Dragon at Ignister. Special summon Degrade Buster by banishing these 2 from my grave. Go for Splash Mage. Splash Mage effect. Special summon Degrade Buster. And then we're going to go Fire Phoenix. Ooh. Finish. And then if we really want to extend even further, we can. We can go I Love Fusion. Earth Golem. Achi-Chi. Fire Phoenix. And we also have Tie Strike to make anything completely even while we go into our next turn. But yeah, I mean, that was a bit of shuffling around, but I think that was a decent test hand. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. Alright guys, so that's going to go ahead and do it for today. I'm sorry I had to cut it around a little bit because of my camera situation, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I upload new videos. Follow me on social media. All my links will be down in the description. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you next time. Peace out.